Today is Monday, February 3rd. We're talking about the second horrific plane crash in less than a week and what investigators have learned so far about both of them. Also, the new tariffs impacting America's biggest trading partners and how the U.S. is expected to be impacted. Plus, a warning about a baby teething product, the chances a newly detected asteroid could hit Earth, and all the biggest wins from last night's Grammy Awards. Those stories and even more news to know next.
Welcome to The Newsworthy. All the day's news in around 10 minutes. Fast, fair, fun, and on the go. I'm Erica Mandy. Thanks so much for being here. You ready? Let's do this.
Well, we start today with news of another tragic plane crash. An air ambulance crashed near a mall in northeast Philadelphia on Friday night. The flight was meant to transport a child from Mexico who had come to the U.S. to be treated for a life-threatening condition. She had just completed the treatment, which took months, and was on her way home. Her mother and 4 crew members also died, as well as 1 person on the ground. 22 other people on the ground were hurt, and some are now in critical condition. So far, investigators say they aren't sure what caused this crash, but it's being classified as an accident. Meanwhile, investigators in Washington, D.C. say they're working to fill in some key details to learn what caused a helicopter and passenger plane crash there last week. They think it's possible the pilots on the helicopter couldn't see well in the dark skies, or maybe the helicopter deviated from its normal route. 67 people were killed in that crash. And over the weekend, their family members visited the crash site to say goodbye and press for answers. The Army Corps of Engineers is expected to start removing the wreckage from the Potomac River today. As promised, President Trump imposed higher tariffs on all goods coming into the U.S. from America's 3 closest trading partners, Canada, Mexico, and China. Trump considers it punishment since he says the countries have let drugs and undocumented immigrants come into the U.S. The president acknowledged there might be what he called some pain for Americans too, but says it will be worth it to make America great again. Already, all 3 countries have said they'll retaliate. Canada released a detailed list of exactly what products will face its tariffs starting tomorrow. It includes more than 1,200 American products, everything from honey, tomatoes, and whiskey, to motorcycles, refrigerators, and toilets. Other Canadian leaders went further, urging a boycott of all American goods and called on people to vacation elsewhere too. Mexico's president says she's going to unveil her government's response today. As for China, it says it will not only take corresponding countermeasures, but will also file a legal case against the U.S. at the World Trade Organization. Before this action, most imports from Canada and Mexico faced no tariffs because of a trilateral trade deal. Now, it's 25%. Many Chinese products were already given tariffs of up to 25%. Trump added on another 10%. To be continued. Dozens of federal prosecutors who were involved in cases about the January 6th Capitol riot have now been fired. And the Trump administration is also scrutinizing thousands of FBI agents involved in those riot investigations, setting the stage for what could be a massive purge there, too. FBI employees were ordered yesterday to answer a questionnaire about any work they may have done on the January 6th criminal cases. Those questionnaires are due by this afternoon. And while none of them have been fired yet, some agents are already clearing out their desks. Remember, the new Department of Justice also fired more than a dozen other career prosecutors who worked on the 2 criminal cases against President Trump that have since been dismissed. As for why, the Trump administration is citing the president's executive order to end what he called the weaponization of the federal government. Though the FBI Agents Association says if the White House really does get rid of all the employees who worked on the Capitol riot cases, that would make it hard for the FBI to keep operating, since those same employees investigate child sex crimes, immigration crimes, Chinese espionage, and a lot more. Elsewhere, dozens of Education Department employees were placed on leave, and union representatives say it's because they attended a diversity training course that was encouraged during President Trump's first administration. They include civil rights attorneys and employees working to make sure schools accommodate special needs children with individualized education programs. So far, no comment from the Trump administration on those jobs. There's expected to be an exodus of government employees and programs because of Elon Musk's government efficiency team. In fact, the stated goal of DOGE is to find ways to fire federal workers, cut programs, and slash federal regulations. Already, a top Treasury official was put on leave after refusing to give DOGE access to the government's vast payments system. Once he left, DOGE got in and started making cuts to charity programs. The system also distributes trillions of dollars in Social Security and Medicare benefits, grants, and tax refunds to Americans every year. Then the same thing happened at the U.S. Agency for International Development. 2 top security chiefs did not want to turn over classified material, saying they believed they were legally obligated to deny access. Well, they were put on leave, so the DOGE team did gain access. And yesterday, Musk wrote on X that it's time for U.S. aid to die. U.S. aid used to administer billions of dollars in humanitarian, development, and security assistance in more than 100 countries. But those programs have shut down since President Trump froze all foreign assistance, and aid organizations have started layoffs in response. For the 4th time since Israel and Hamas reached a ceasefire agreement, a group of hostages was released from Gaza. And this time, the group included an American who had been held by Hamas for 484 days. In exchange, Israel released nearly 200 Palestinian prisoners, including 18 who were serving life sentences. And for the first time since it was captured by Israeli forces, the crucial Rafah crossing between Gaza and Egypt opened, and a group of Palestinians, mostly children, was able to evacuate for medical treatment. Negotiations for the second phase of the ceasefire are set to begin today. Astronomers have discovered an asteroid that certainly grabbed their attention. They say it could hit Earth in the year 2032, and it was discovered in late December. Calculations of its orbit show its next pass close to our planet could be a close one, and there's even a chance it could hit. As of right now, astronomers say there's around a 1.5% chance, and that's not nothing when talking about the risk of a potentially catastrophic collision. Scientists say the asteroid is around 130 to 300 feet across, and if it were to hit, the blast damage could reach an area 30 miles from the impact site. All that said, astronomers emphasize that's more than a 98% chance that asteroid does not hit Earth. They will keep working on their calculations, and as 2032 gets closer, they should have more answers. We have much more news for you still ahead, but first, a quick break for our sponsor, Quince. I am over the days of buying something super cheap to wear once or twice, and then it either falls apart or it's just not trendy anymore. Now, I like quality, even a little luxury, though I still need it to be affordable. And that's where Quince comes in. Quince offers a range of high-quality items at prices within reach, like 100% Mongolian cashmere sweaters from $50, washable silk tops and dresses, organic cotton sweaters, and 14-karat gold jewelry. The best part? All Quince items are priced 50 to 80% less than similar brands. By partnering directly with top factories, Quince cuts out the cost of the middleman and passes the savings on to us. And Quince only works with factories that use safe, ethical, and responsible manufacturing practices and premium fabrics and finishes. I love that. My most recent get was a wool quarter-zip pullover. I adore how soft and warm it is, and I so appreciate that I can throw it on for a quick casual look or dress it up to be more sophisticated. So give yourself the luxury you deserve with Quince. Go to quince.com/newsworthy for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. That's QUINCE.com/newsworthy to get free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/newsworthy. Okay, now back to the news. The fires that destroyed thousands of homes in the Los Angeles area are finally fully contained. Firefighters reached 100% containment over the weekend, and that means the flames are surrounded and fire crews are keeping them from spreading. In the 24 days the Palisades and Eaton fires burned, they killed 29 people. They also destroyed nearly 20,000 buildings and wiped out entire neighborhoods. And even though the fires no longer pose an immediate threat, the recovery process will be long and expensive. Some estimates put the cost of the fires as high as $250 billion. The Environmental Protection Agency has set a 30-day goal for cleaning debris. Heads up, a popular baby product is being discontinued because it could be a choking hazard. Gerber teething sticks are being recalled, and Gerber's parent company, Nestle, will stop making them. Their packaging says they're designed for kids 6 months and older and are designed to be edible teethers. But parents said their children were choking on them. One child even had to go to the ER. They were sold at grocery stores all around the U.S. and online. If you have the teething sticks in your home, Nestle says you should not feed them to kids. You can return or throw them away. We'll have a link with more details about the affected products in today's episode notes. Thousands of government web pages and several entire websites have gone dark. They include entire websites and databases about health topics, including HIV, AIDS, and LGBTQ+ health concerns. Information has also been removed about vaccines, veterans care, hate crimes, and scientific research. Climate change information and databases have also been scrubbed. The Spanish language version of the White House's website is no longer available. And that's just to name a few of the 8,000 web pages taken down. The Trump administration has not commented specifically on this purge, but on Friday, President Trump said removing material to comply with his executive order eliminating DEI programs does not sound like a bad idea. The CDC said parts of the removed health web pages may be restored after the language is reviewed. But it's unclear what exactly the final version of any sites will look like, which ones will come back online, or when that will happen. This year, music's biggest night was packed with awards, performances, and tributes. The Grammy for Album of the Year went to Beyoncé for Cowboy Carter, making it the first time the most decorated artist won the biggest award of the night. Chappell Roan won the Grammy for Best New Artist, and Kendrick Lamar got both Record of the Year and Song of the Year for Not Like Us. There were also performances by stars like Lady Gaga, Sabrina Carpenter, The Weeknd, Billie Eilish, and more. There was also a tribute to 28-time Grammy-winning producer, the late Quincy Jones. Plus, there was a celebration of Los Angeles with stars like John Legend, Sheryl Crow, and Brad Paisley singing Randy Newman's song, I Love L.A. The show raised money for California wildfire relief efforts and helped musicians impacted by the fires. Near the end of the show, the host Trevor Noah announced viewers had already raised $7 million, and the tally was still growing. That's it for the main news today, so now it's time for Money Monday, when we talk about one interesting money-related news story. But first, this episode of The Newsworthy is brought to you by Wildgrain. Wildgrain is the first Bake from Frozen subscription box for artisanal breads, pastries, and pastas. Wildgrain's boxes are fully customizable to your tastes and dietary restrictions. From their classic variety box to their recently launched gluten-free box and plant-based box that is 100% vegan. Best of all, they take the hassle out of baking since all the items bake from frozen in just 25 minutes or less with no mess or cleanup. Having warm, flaky croissants to wake up to is such a delight. Not to mention their amazing pastas that make dinner time feel special, yet are so easy and quick. My whole family was happy. Are you ready to bring all your favorite carbs right to your doorstep? Be sure to check out Wildgrain so you can begin building your own box of artisanal breads, pastas, and pastries. For a limited time, Wildgrain is offering our listeners $30 off their first box, plus free croissants in every box when you go to wildgrain.com/newsworthy to start your subscription. You heard me, free croissants in every box and $30 off your first box when you go to wildgrain.com/newsworthy. That's wildgrain.com/newsworthy, or you can use the promo code newsworthy at checkout. Now back to Money Monday. So the U.S. economy finished 2024 strong. The U.S. Commerce Department put out new data last week that shows the gross domestic product, or GDP, grew by 2.3% in the final quarter of last year. That's slightly down from the 3.1% growth from the first 3 quarters of last year, but economists say these new numbers still show an economy that's in good shape overall, despite concerns over inflation and high interest rates. So where is all this growth coming from? Well, a lot of places. Americans spent more on goods like cars and clothes, as well as services like transportation and medical care. Plus, the housing market improved. Granted, businesses spent less on restocking. So 2024 fell slightly behind 2023 in terms of growth. That said, business spending is expected to pick up, and many companies have been importing more this past month to get ahead of President Trump's tariffs. Keep in mind, economists are always cautious about making predictions, especially with a new administration coming into power. So stay tuned. All right, well, thank you so much for joining us today. We'll be back with even more news to know tomorrow. For now, have a great day.